All right, so hello and welcome back to Living and Ending Well with Minnelle. My name is Minnelle Williams, and today I am joined by Michelle Walter. Now, here's the thing, I have to go back and give you a little bit of our background. We met, this is why you're supposed to just step out in faith on certain things, because we met randomly while we were both in a program. But what we were talking about, we were like, hold on, I see some synergies here. And we just started talking. And then out of that, became this beautiful connection. And I'm so glad that you're here and we can chat all about you and your business and your story. So, first, can you please introduce yourself?
Well, hi, thank you very much. And it was really cool the way that we met, actually. I'll just add that on. It was awesome. And it's so funny because our businesses are kind of parallel. So that's really cool. My name is Michelle Walter, and I am a widow, and I'm the CEO of Elevate and Empower. And what I do is I help midlife women and widows navigate the challenges and the complexities of grief and loss, and not just loss from death, but any type of loss. So that's what I do. And how it came about is during the pandemic, I lost my husband to COVID. And, after losing him, I found myself at a crossroads. There was either, you could either shrivel up and die alongside with him, or you can pick yourself up and turn your pain into power, as they say, right? And do something positive with your life. So that is what I decided to do. And so I got a psychology diploma. I changed my life coaching, which was more business and mindset coaching, to grief and wellness for midlife women. I got a certification in grief counseling and life coaching and wellness coaching and all of these things. And I even became an author, right? Telling my story through a book that started out as a journal. So all of these things I've done, and really it's just to help other women navigate a time in their life where I know that it was so hard, it sucked. The resources were lacking, the support was lacking, and I was just tired of the cliches and all of these things. So I just wanted to
Mm,
create something that would help other women to easier, or what's the proper word, more easily navigate the complexities of
yeah,
grief, because it
yeah,
sucks.
it's hard. It's hard. Can we just honor how much you've done since the pandemic? Like, it feels like it was a blink ago,
Yes.
but now hearing you talk about it, I'm like, you've done this, all these different courses, and wrote a book in the midst of this time. So, congratulations on you for
Thank
really
you.
taking that hard moment and flipping it to something
Thank
not just therapeutic for you, but for many. And I find so many of us do the same thing. We get into this because we've gone through it and said there needs to be supports somewhere,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly it. There was a gap
Mm,
there, and I was my mission is to fill that gap.
yeah, love
Yeah.
it. Love it. Okay, so before we get started, I have my little intro here. Let's take this moment. Flip back to our younger selves. So you're looking at your, let's go back to like 13 to 18, right? In our preteen era, or I guess, never mind, teen era. And if you could share one life lesson, now you've already shared some, so you can take from what you were talking about or something different. But if you could share one life lesson with that younger version, what would it be?
Would tell 13-year-old Michelle to always speak your truth. Always speak your truth. Always speak up for yourself. Always be your biggest advocate. That's what I would tell 13-year-old Michelle.
That's a hard hitting word there because listen, it's very hard to, especially when emotions and everything get involved, to speak up for yourself and to try to
There is.
because no one else advocates for you like you do.
That's right.
So I love that. It's a hard one, but it's a good one. I'm going to take that from Minnelle today, right now, anyway.
I
Okay,
take it for myself daily. Trust me, I
every
have
day.
to remind myself that, you know what, you are your number one priority, and
Yeah,
you're your biggest advocate. So make
yeah,
sure you speak up for yourself. And it doesn't matter
yes.
how small or big the situation is, always speak up for yourself.
Speak up. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that now. right? We're talking about, let's start with grief. Well, you are a grief coach. So let's start with grief. And especially when dealing with women, we can get absorbed by the grief and the to dos that still have to happen, right? And a lot of families that I talk to, we're talking about, okay, we're grieving. And I'm going to put myself in it with my dad hasn't passed, right? But we're in this anticipatory grief era, right? So we're still carrying this load, but life still has to happen. So, how do women make space for grief while not allowing everything else to fall? Because we either do one of two things. Sorry, long example here, but we either work, 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 and don't allow ourselves to pause because we don't feel we're allowed, or we completely crumble. How do we navigate that?
The first thing is to give yourself permission, right? Give yourself permission and also recognize that what you are feeling and what you're going through is normal. So it is normal to think about, in anticipatory grief, it is normal to think about that person's passing and maybe the freedom that comes along with that for you. That's normal. And people feel a little guilty. Oh my goodness, I feel guilty that I'm thinking about life after this person passes. But the reality of it is that they're going to pass. And your life as a caregiver is going to change. And it's normal to feel that way. It's normal to think about the future and give yourself permission to think about these things. It's your feel whatever you're feeling is completely normal. And first thing it is to give yourself that permission and recognize that what you're going through is completely normal. The second thing I would suggest is you speak to somebody about it. Speak to somebody who knows about grief, somebody who might be in the same position as you, caring for an elderly father with dementia. There are groups and there's support out there now, right? Like it's gotten a lot better. So these are the things that I would suggest that you do because the guilt over that is a lot to carry, and it's I don't want to use the word unnecessary, but it is unnecessary because I mean the person is going to pass and your life is going to change. And whether you see that as for the better or for not the better, for better or worse, whatever it is, the facts are the facts. And your feelings are valid. Yeah.
It's so, yeah. I just find like it's so interesting with grief because there's the grief feelings that people feel, and then there's the emotions that we feel about the grief, whether it's allowed or not. Because, like, I can see some, right? A friend, a loved one has passed, has died, and it's like you just want to curl up, go under the covers, and never emerge because you're kind of swallowed up in this grief.
Hmm.
But somehow you have to push yourself to continue. So sorry. So for those women that are in that cocoon, what are some of the tools that you use for them?
Um, Patience is the first thing, right? Non-judgment and patience. When you're in the midst of grief, getting out of bed is a feat. It's an accomplishment to just get out of bed that day. To take a shower is another accomplishment for the day. To take the time to make a meal for yourself,
Eat,
to
yes.
eat properly
Yeah.
and not
Mm-hmm.
live the entire day off of coffee like I
Mm-hmm.
did for the first little
Mm-hmm.
while, right? So all of these little things are definite accomplishments. And in the early stages of grief, I encourage people to be patient with yourself and be non judgmental with yourself. And if today you wake up and you don't feel like getting out of that bed, so what? You're grieving and you have all right to stay in bed all day if you want. I'm not suggesting that you allow yourself to stay stuck because that could be, prolonged grief and going into some other, issues. But in the early stages of grief, when you're drowning, like you said, like you just want to curl up in the fetal position and, right? Um, just be patient with yourself. And every little micro step that you take is a huge deal. And it's something that should be celebrated. You should pat yourself on the back. I took a shower today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good girl,
Yeah.
right? Good
Yeah.
girl, you did
Yeah.
it today.
Yeah.
We'll worry about tomorrow. Yesterday's past. We'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. Today, I woke up and I took a shower. Good girl, right? That's it. Yeah.
I feel like those of us that are in this industry that are doing this work, I'm hearing you talk about this, and I'm envisioning what it's like to be a client. You're sitting down at this. I'm assuming it's similar to this. Is kind of
Yes.
what your sessions are like, and in those sessions, what do you find are some of like the biggest questions or the biggest hurdles that women typically have? For me, I'll give you one that I really want you to touch on. It's
Okay.
finances.
Yes.
Because a lot of the women I talk to, they
Yeah.
have no idea
Yeah.
because
It
their
is.
husband
It
looked after
is.
everything.
It's not the number one thing, but it's up
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
in the list. It's
Hmm.
really high on the list because you go from two incomes to one. And like you said, maybe you might have had a husband who took care of all the finances and he took care of everything, and there was no planning ahead of time or no, hey, let's have a conversation about how this is all running just in case something happens to me. Right? So women who are going through that, it's hard. It's like you're walking through a fog. But my advice would be is to seek some sort of financial advice from somebody who's an actual financial advisor. Like, I don't have those qualifications. I can only tell you what I did and how I did things. And my story was a little bit different. So, everybody's situation is different in their marriages. So that would be my advice: is to seek professional financial advice to find out what you're working with, right? Because what happens sometimes is there's even assets that you might not even know about while they're alive, because that also happened to me. And then they've passed away, and all of a sudden you own this house over here, or you've got a line of credit over here, or you've got stocks over here, type of thing. So the best thing I would advise is to gather up all banking information that you may can get your hands on in the home, and bring it all to a financial advisor and have them advise you as to what to do, what you're entitled to, that kind of thing. Also, if your husband has left you a pension, for instance, there's these things that you have to also get death certificates and that kind of stuff, and right, to get these things. There's also government things that are you're entitled to, for instance, CPP, which is a death benefit or spousal benefit or something like that. So these are all things that you can look into, because these are all incomes that you will have for the rest of your life, really, right? So again, professional financial advisor is the first place to start when it comes to finances. Yeah, that's the first thing.
Quick
Um,
plug here before you continue.
Go
This
ahead.
is why we need to plan ahead, writing things down, making
Exactly.
it clear. Because
Exactly.
when you come to see me, I want it all to be simple so that we're not going through this process at the end. Part
That's
completed.
exactly. And you're absolutely right. And what I also would go even further to say is, to those of you who are in anticipatory grief, like pre the death or the loss. And I get that, because my husband was diagnosed with a terminal illness years before COVID. So I knew that our time together was going to be cut short. And aside from sitting in denial, this is myself, for a few months after the diagnosis, eventually, because he was such a responsible man, he got me to come around to having a conversation about certain things. And so I knew everything. So when the COVID came and he passed away, it was a no brainer. I knew where everything was. I knew exactly what to do. I knew who to contact for this. And it made it a lot easier to grieve, right? As simple as that. It made it a lot easier to grieve. I didn't have to, I mean, I had to focus on other stuff, but that was one thing that he took off of my plate, and it kind of ran on autopilot. So I'm very grateful for that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Did you want to go back and tell me what the number one thing was?
And the number one thing, yes,
Yes.
was who am I without him? It's an identity crisis, really. It's like, who am I without him? And I totally get that because I was Mrs. Michelle Green, Mrs. Brian Green for years. And when he passed, it's like, what do I do now? Like, I'm a part of a we all these years. And now it's just I. And being referred to as a widow was very hard for me at first. Now I've embraced it and I've, remarried, obviously, but I've embraced the title and, all that comes along with it. But that is the hardest part. The what do I do now? What's this next chapter of my life look like? Because not only do I have to grieve my husband, but I also have to grieve the future that the two of us had planned, right? Because we had stuff planned, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so you got to grieve him, you grieve the relationship, you grieve who I was in the relationship because I'm no longer that person now because it's me, one person instead of we. So you go through all of these things, and I think the identity crisis is the number one. What do I do now? What does the next chapter of my life look like without the person?
That's a huge question. That's a huge question. That's like specifically, and even as you introduce yourself at the beginning to say, I'm a widow, I know for many people to say those words, it takes work to be able to announce that. And let's talk about a little bit because you are a widow and you are remarried.
That's right.
So when people are
I'm
they're
a widow and a wife.
navigating, yeah, like how do I navigate that? How do I feel okay dating? How do I feel
Yeah,
okay being married and that new
yeah,
widow wife title? Yeah.
yeah. I'll tell you this. It for me personally, and again, everybody's marriage and everybody's relationship is different. I know that Brian, my deceased husband, would have wanted me to keep it moving, right? Just the person he is, just the relationship that we were in. And he so much as said so when he was diagnosed with a terminal illness, right? He so much as said, I'm going to be gone before you. You're not to live your life, wearing black with a veil mourning. You're to keep it moving, right? Type of thing. And so, in honoring him, I kept it moving, right? As simple as that. I do exactly what I think that he would want me to do with my life. I think that if I had made that choice to curl up in the fetal position and just let life move on without me and just live in my grief forever, I think that that would have been a huge disrespect to him. I think that would be the opposite of honoring him and honoring our love and our relationship. Because there are many times when I hear him, like right in my ear, right? Let's go. Let's go. You know what I mean? Or I'm really proud of you, or good job. And nice to see you on TV this morning. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Yes.
So I hear him constantly, and he's like the biggest cheerleader with the biggest pom pom, saying, keep it moving, like ride this till the wheels fall off, right? And that was his attitude in life, and I know that's his attitude for me in my ear all the time. So that's why I've done what I've done. And as far as the remarrying part, I did the same thing that I did when I manifested Brian into my life, right? I wrote on a piece of paper the exact person I wanted to attract into my life. And I mean details, height, eye color, nationality, like it was all that. And then once I met him and married him within a year, right, of meeting and marrying, first date and wedding, 1 year, 12 months exactly. And yeah, exactly. And I remember taking that piece of paper that I walked around in my wallet with. I had a copy on my fridge and in my wallet. And I remember taking it out of my wallet, unfolding it, and reading all the criteria and thinking to myself, OMG, this could just say Brian Green. Like this could just say his name alone because that's exactly who I manifested. So when I felt the time that I was ready again to jump into that dating pool, I did the same thing. I wrote on a piece of paper exactly what I needed in my life at that time, and I found it in Ken. I mean, it takes a very special man to marry a widow. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? It takes a very special man. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I don't know if I did a post or I was talking to somebody on a podcast about this, but it's like, just imagine being in a relationship with someone where you know that a part of their heart's always going to belong to somebody else. You wouldn't be here if he didn't die. Do you know what I mean? So these are things that in the back of your mind, as you're, loving and caring and nurturing this widow, in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, I wouldn't be here if he didn't die,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot, and so I'm just grateful that I found somebody who allows me to be me, allows me to grieve, allows me to talk about Brian at every turn,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
I'm, I'm able to talk about him, joke about him sometimes, and that kind of stuff. So I'm very grateful that my this chapter of my life has taken such a positive turn. I'm
Yeah.
very grateful
Yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that is how I do it, guilt free,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that Brian is
Yeah.
cheering me on all the way.
I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful story. That is a story of hope that I hope that we hear and,
Yeah,
take it
yeah,
and hold it in our hearts. It's
yeah.
funny. I was listening to, there's a show I keep watching on TikTok, and it's Am I an asshole? Am I the asshole? And they
Oh,
kind
okay.
of read out, have you heard it? Like they read
No,
out people's stories.
right.
And so this one person was saying, am I the a-hole for wanting to end their engagement because their fiance, because that they are a widow, and their fiance was making inappropriate jokes about the fact that, I'm so glad that your wife has passed, because if she hadn't died, I wouldn't have got you. But making jokes about it, that just
Yeah,
didn't
a
sit
little
well. And I was like,
sensitive, a little sensitive.
yeah, I never thought about it until I heard that. And now hearing you talk about it as well,
Yeah,
what it is to love a widow
yeah.
and how to be sensitive, caring, and
Hmm.
still allowing space for that person who is no longer here to be part.
That's
So yeah, that's
exactly
a
it.
whole other conversation
It's
that
a
I think is
whole, yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Can you tell us about one thing? And I know what it is. I know what I want you to talk about. So,
Okay.
one thing that you did when you were grieving that
Right?
just gave you peace.
Gave me peace when I was
Yes.
grieving.
Yes.
There's a
Maybe a
few
trip you took.
things. Yes, I was just gonna say, there's a few things
Yes.
that I
Okay.
did, but the first thing I did about 6 to 8 days after he passed, I booked a flight to Vancouver from Toronto, which is a 4-hour flight.
Hmm.
And I booked into a hotel, really nice one on the water, and I just took off. And I'll be honest, at the time, I was trying to outrun my grief. Side note, can't be done. I was also sick and tired of hearing people say, sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss. He's in a better place. It'll all be better with time. All the cliches that you hear when somebody passes, because people don't know what the hell to say. So they just draw for the cliches, right? And I get it, and I understand that it was well meaning. However, I was tired of it. And so I took off because I figured if I go to another city, Vancouver, um, nobody knows me there. Nobody knows I'm a widow, right? Nobody knows to sorry for your loss, that kind of thing. I could just be, right? And that was something that for me just started a whole trend of solo wellness healing travel, right? Like it just started a whole snowball effect for me. And I used to travel by myself prior to the marriage, and then I would drag Brian along during the marriage. And then he passed away, and then yeah,
Yes.
come on, we're going, right? He used to always say that, oh, the wife's got me booked for some vacation. I don't know where we're going. We're going somewhere, kind of thing, right? So she's always got me booked. So that's how that was. And then he passed away, and I did the trip to Vancouver, and I think it was a 5-day trip, so it wasn't too long, but it was far enough away from home that I couldn't be in the hotel room and decide, oh, you know what, I'm just going to jump in my car and drive back home. Right? I couldn't do that. I had to wait
Yeah.
for my 4-hour flight back
Yes,
to
you did.
Toronto. So it was very healing for me. I did a lot of live on Instagram kind of thing, kind of documenting the story and that type of stuff. And yeah, it was a good experience and the start for me for the solo travel that I now am involved in and have even started the wellness travel circle, which yeah, I'm working on the wellness travel circle, which is it's going to be a private app. Actually, I'm actually building out the app at the moment. And so it's a private app, a membership app, $28 a month. And what you get for that is access to the app, obviously, and the private community. But I'm going to create two curated trips every year. And Italy is next on the docket for October 2026. We're going to go to Tropea. So, 2 trips a year. I take care of all of the logistics. I'm working with airlines, hotels, travel agents, that type of thing to get us the best deals that we can get for the group of women who attend. And it's just a way for us to, I call it healing in motion, right? So it's a way for us to heal through travel, but also you can solo travel, but within a group. So any of those safety concerns that women have, about solo travel, because I totally get it. I went to Portugal this past October. I bought myself a birthday gift and I was there for 10 days by myself. Never been to Portugal, never been to that airport, never been to Lisbon, had no clue, don't speak Portuguese,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I said,
I've done it too. I love it.
I'm going, right? I'm
Yeah.
just going to go. And it was life changing. It was a life changing trip. And I loved it so much. And that's what I thought, you know what? I want to share this feeling with people, right? And I totally get the safety issue of traveling alone, right? I watch movies too. So I watched Taken, right?
Yeah. Listen, we all did. We all saw
Right?
that and said,
Right?
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. So for that reason, I've set it up in a way that you can join the group and you can join the trip, and then you could be involved as much as, or as little as you want in whatever itinerary I have for the group. So if it's just a solo trip that you just want to go and be by yourself and do your own thing, no problem. You have the safety of being in the group. We're all on the same flight. We're going to be same hotel, right? Unless you're coming from a different place, then maybe not the same flight, but all the same hotel. We all have each other's contacts, so that's the safetiness of the group. And so I'm working on that, and for maybe a January launch.
Is this just for widows or can
No, it's for
anybody join?
midlife women.
Okay.
Women, period. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, because I like to stress, I know that I'm a grief coach, but I'd like to stress that grief can come from any kind of loss.
That's what
You
I was
could have
thinking.
lost your
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
I've had a
A
dog
job.
pass. I've had a dog pass and be bawling on the beach behind my sunglasses because I'm in Jamaica and the dog is passing back here in Canada. So loss is loss. You could have lost your job, like you said, a career path, a friendship, anything. Loss is loss, and we grieve them all. So life transitions, anything type of thing, right? A diagnosis that you get,
Hmm.
whatever that is. So
Yes.
it is for midlife women
Okay.
who want to kind of reclaim their life, reclaim a little bit of power, and heal through travel and get to see nice places in the world in the
Hmm.
meantime,
I
right?
love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
so that's
I
the
am now a
plan.
traveler as well, so I love that. I saw
Yeah,
your trip to Portugal and thought, yes, I remember being there. Oh, I love it.
it was so
Just
beautiful.
fantastic to
Yeah.
leave and see something entirely new. It's like you get to take a breath
Yes,
of
yeah, and
different
it
air,
was
which is
it
really
was
helpful.
it was so healing. Like, I mean, I got up every day with selfie stick and crossbody in hand,
Yeah.
and yeah, right. And I have
Yeah.
those Ray-Ban glasses that can take video and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So those were on the face, ready to go.
Yes. Yes.
And I would get out and walk out of the hotel and say, "Okay, today I'm going right." Right?
No plan.
No
Yeah.
plan at all. Okay,
Yes.
today I'm
Yeah.
going left, right? Oh,
Hmm.
today we're
Hmm.
gonna go straight and go right. Like
Yes.
every day, I decided let's go do something else. Okay, today we're gonna take a tuk tuk ride. See, yeah, that type of thing. So it was amazing. It was life changing, and I just thought, I want to share this.
I love that.
Yeah. So Italy's up
Um,
next.
okay, so stay tuned for Italy
Stay
in
tuned for
October.
Italy. Yes,
Um, your book, you said you it was a journal that you turned into a book. Can you tell us about that?
I have a therapist.
Yes.
And obviously, after the loss, she saw a lot of me. And she suggested that I start a journal, right, about my emotions and feelings and, what I'm going through in the relationship and all of that. Just write down whatever comes to your head, jot it down, write it down. Memories, things that make you laugh, things that make you cry, whatever. And I did that and I started it as that. And then it turned into a book called It Wasn't Luck, and an inspirational story of love and loss. That's the full title. And how I came about with that title and to turn it into a book is maybe a year or 2 years after the passing, and the world is opening up again. And so we're having a get together at my friend's house in the evening, a bunch of girls, maybe 5 or 6 of us. And we're all there and we're hanging out, and everybody's going around and checking in. How are you? How are you? How are you? So it gets to me now. How are you doing, Michelle? With the loss and Brian, blah, blah, blah. And I remember them saying something about, actually, I remember a few of them on their phones scrolling dating apps. That was how this came about, right? And one of them said, "Oh, Michelle, you were so lucky. You were so lucky to have found Brian and found the relationship and had the relationship that you had with him. Like you were so lucky." And I received it at the time and didn't really say much. But after going home and now getting undressed to get into the empty bed because you're now living in your condo alone because your husband's gone, and I thought about it and I thought to myself, luck had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Luck had nothing to do with it. First of all, I told you already about the piece of paper that I wrote down to manifest this man into my life, right? Luck had absolutely nothing to do with it. People come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And Brian came into my life for multiple reasons and for definite seasons, right? Maybe not the lifetime, but his presence in my life will surpass me, even, right? Even my life type of thing. So that is why I decided to turn it into a book and call it It Wasn't Luck, because it was not luck. And the opening chapter of the book is that night at the girls get together, right? When they're scrolling social media, or sorry, scrolling the dating
The
apps
dating
and
apps.
whatever. So
Yeah.
that's the opening chapter of.
Hmm. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. Okay.
available on
Before,
Amazon. And
thank you.
there you go, available on Amazon or my website. You can find everything that I'm talking to you about at my website,
Lovely.
which
Thank
is
you.
elevateandempower.inc.com.
Say it one more time for me, please.
Elevate and Empower Inc., all one word.com.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if I was talking while you were saying it, so just want to be sure.
That's
Is
it.
there anything else that we should know about before I ask you my last
Final,
question?
final question.
Yes.
Um, I think what I really would like to say to those of you who have people in your life who are navigating grief, right? Any type of grief, just be patient with them. Don't rush them. Don't say things like, you should be over it by now. And they can do without the cliches, right? And when somebody passes away, the first thing that people like to say is, if you need anything, call me. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not calling, because getting up is a feat. Taking a shower is a feat. I might need you, but I'm not calling. So the best thing that you could do as a friend is call me every day, even if I don't answer. Text me every day, even if I don't reply. Call me, text me, let me know I'm there. Because even if I don't respond, even if I don't reply, I'm going to say, Minnelle is there for me. So now when I'm on my face and I feel like I really need some support, I'm going to remember that for the last 2 weeks, Minnelle has texted and called every damn day, and I haven't answered her.
Yep.
And I didn't reply to one of them texts.
Yep.
But she still has called and texted for the last 2 weeks every day. So when I do need support, that's who I'm going to draw for, right? Because they've proven that they're there for me. So saying, if you need anything, call me. I know it's well meant. And I totally think that when people say it, they mean it. If you
Yep.
need anything, call me.
Yes.
I'm not,
It's not helpful. Yeah.
I'm not going to call.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one helpful hint for you who
Take
are,
that.
yeah,
I'm going to add one.
go ahead.
Just on the other side, if you're the person offering support,
Mhm.
know that that person is forever changed and can be. That friend that you knew, the way that they interacted, the way that they smiled, or that they were, is changed. Their life has changed. And even in the passing, like remember, like even in the diagnosis, things are changing in how they see the world. And you've got to give space for who this new person is. And also, like for yourself, you might grieve the friend that you once had because they might not be that person in that same fullness or in that same way again. But doesn't mean they're not great. Doesn't mean they're not going to change. Doesn't mean life won't become beautiful again or whatever.
They're
But
just changed.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
change happening. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of my favorite things to remember. I remember some of my friends after they've lost, loved ones. I look at them now and I'm like, wow, I can see your before and I can see your after. And I can see you fighting every day, to try to come back to who you were or just to kind of find your equilibrium. And in that, I'm like, I celebrate each moment that you're here because I
Mhm.
get the fight that you're going through. So,
It is.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Constant
All right.
internal fight. All
Yeah.
right. Hit me with it.
Last question. Here we go. So, it's a weird question, but I love asking it. In light of the life that you've lived, everything we've talked about here today, what in this moment makes life worth living for you? What do you love most about life now?
That's easy. I am the grandmother or the Gigi. I won't answer to grandma, by the way, FYI. I will not answer to that. But I am the Gigi to two beautiful boys. I have two beautiful sons, and each of them have had two beautiful sons. And so one will be, I think he's going to be 4 in February, and the other one is 3 in July of 2026. And they are just the apples of my eye. Like just to hear them call Gigi, they bully their parents. Call Gigi, call
Yeah.
Gigi. I love it. They have to call me. Oh, you want to talk to her? There you go. So we FaceTime all the time.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's what I love the most right now in my life. The grandbabies. But having said that, life for me is very positive. It's good right now. Last year this time I was fighting a depression, right? I was spiraling down into a depression, right? As a newlywed, believe it or not. So life for me right now is great. It's great. My marriage is wonderful. My business is thriving. As you know, I've started the new media journey, which is going really, really well, right? And building those relationships. I've started the wellness app, the wellness circle. So life is good, but on the top of the list are the grandbabies for sure.
I love that. I
For
love that.
sure.
Positivity and Gigi.
That's right.
That
That's right.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Okay. Michelle, thank you so much. This was great. I love what you shared and thank you for being real because sometimes, talking about it is
Hmm.
helpful, but talking about a real story really helps connect people to people, because we're
Yeah.
people connecting to people.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay, so please go online, follow Michelle on all of her social media, look for Elevate and Empower. Any other social medias they should follow?
I'm on all of them. It's Elevate and Empower for all of them. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right down the line. YouTube,
Google it.
Elevate
You
and
see her on
Empower. Just
everything.
Google. You'll see me on everything. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, and you're going to see her on the news too. When you wake up in the
That's,
morning and turn on your news, there
that's
she
right.
is.
That's right. Look
So,
out for me on
yes.
all the breakfast TV shows
I
and the
love it.
GTA. I'm going to be on.
All of them. All
That's
of
right.
them. There we go. Manifest it. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions or need more support, please reach out to Michelle. If you have questions, also reach out to me. Let's keep these conversations going.